people are attracted to the occult by seemingly harmless pleasures, such as games and music. They start by participating in fantasy role-playing games, like Dungeons and Dragons.
Traveling coast to coast, meeting the cutest, sexiest girls in the country to find the hottest girl in a...
Okay, let's go for a walk. The new Jackass movie is coming out, and that's got me thinking. There is actually one woman who is doing it way before they were, by the name of Marina Abramović. All the way back in the 1970s. Now, some of the things I say about Marina, she's almost gonna sound like she's not a real person, but look her up if you don't believe me. She's really interesting. Now, Marina can be described as the grandmother of performance art. Please don't do any of this stuff at home. Also, it's philosophical entertainment, so don't take my words too seriously. So picture this. There's a burning pentagram on stage. The artist stands outside of the pentagram, cutting her fingernails, toenails, and her hair, throwing them into the fire, producing flashes of flames. Eventually, the artist jumps over the flames into the middle of the pentagram. Now, people didn't realize this at first, but she lost consciousness shortly into the performance. As she lay there, people realized this as the flames were starting to get close to her, so they had to drag her out of it. And she's pissed off. Not because she lost consciousness, but because in losing consciousness, she wasn't able to carry her presence as the performer. Look at these ducks. They're coming right up to me. Hey there. You got anything to say to the camera? So for her next performance, she decided to intentionally explore the loss of consciousness. So she was sitting naked in front of a giant industrial fan, and she would slowly get closer and closer to the fan until the air was too much and she could no longer breathe. She lost consciousness. Now, her instructions to the camera person were to not intervene, but he eventually went against this and called for help. She did the knife game long before it ever became an internet trend. But one of her most notorious, and possibly one of her wildest performances, was known as Rhythm Zero. For this, she had a whole bunch of objects laid out on a table. This included a feather and various other things that can cause pleasure, a rose with thorns and other stuff that can cause pain, and even a bullet and a gun. And for this, she assigned herself a completely passive role as the artist, and the audience could do whatever they wanted to her during this time. Now I know what you're thinking. She had them sign a contract saying that no matter what they did to her, they would not be held responsible. Now, I need to stress, I don't think anyone should try to copy her. She's a very unique person, and frankly, she was very lucky to have lived through her. The performance lasted for 6 hours. Throughout the performance, the audience started out pretty mild, but they got wilder and wilder as they realized that they really can do anything. They had her disrobed, they cut her up with rose thorns, they even had a gun pointed at her head for a long period of time during the performance, loaded. It was eventually moved away from her head. Marina described feeling very violated by the performance. She realized that if you really leave it up to the audience, they can do anything, even kill you. And at the end of the 6 hours, when she finally regained activity and approached the audience, everyone ran away ashamed at what they had participated in. Because see, the thing about Marina is, what is that? Huh. I don't know what that was all about. A performance that I found particularly captivating was known as The Artist is Present. For this, for a period of 3 months, Marina would sit still for 8 hours a day continuously, not taking breaks, not drinking water, nothing, just sitting still 8 hours a day. And the audience members could come and sit facing her face to face for as long as they wanted. Now, this seems simple in theory, but people found it surprisingly captivating. Like, people would sit there facing her and they would find themselves brought to tears. Some people even described that silent meeting as changing their lives, to the point where people even started a support group eventually called Marina Abramović Made Me Cry. The thing you gotta understand about her too, though, is that people might look at the stuff she did and go, death wish. And, well, that's not really the full story. Marina, she's a warrior. Someone who's willing to fully put everything on the line for her art. Almost anywhere in life, that level of risk is highly frowned upon. But in the art community, Marina is beloved. Also, I can't go too into detail with this, but some trademark stuff has transpired and it's looking like I might not be able to keep the name Philosophical Zombie Productions. Oops. But you know what? They can change my branding, but they can't change me.